Hi everyone, welcome back to JPWHU TV live on Facebook and YouTube. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're all doing well under these very, very difficult circumstances. Guys, we have got, again, for the second evening in a row, we have a lot to talk about tonight. Just as always, guys, just want to say hello to everybody that's in the chat. Arian hasn't said hello. He's just asking how everyone is. But Ari, good to see you, mate. Rick, hello. Sofian's in. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Mark's in. She's a warm one. It's been a warm day. It's been a warm day. Sofian says, loving the Thames Ironworks shirt. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. Guys, as always, not as always, for those who've been watching the channel for a good while knows that this is as always. But back again for the second evening on a row now. This broadcast is being sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Go click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website, where they've got some really good gear on offer. Really are good prices. Go check them out. You'll like them. I say that the retro stuff done by Admiral and Umbro is much better than the stuff that's on the club, and I'm not just saying that because it's part of these guys giving me money, but which they're not at the moment because nobody's buying anything. But honestly, I've seen the 75 replica stuff in person that the shop is pushing, and trust me, the club shop are pushing, and trust me, guys, the 3 retro stuff is much better. Rich said hi everyone. Hello, mate. Good to see you. JGM's back. Good to see you. Hope you're all right, mate. And as is Andy. Right, so a lot to talk about tonight, as there normally is, to be fair, but this evening's broadcast a little bit more special. We can now relax again to a degree. I'm certainly very relaxed after the information that came out a few hours ago. The Premier League is set to resume from 17th of June. It's been confirmed. They are now going to start doing it. The first game apparently is going to be Man City Arsenal, and also the second one is to be Villa Sheffield United. So basically to catch up with the rest of the league. So everybody's starts that weekend of the 20th and 21st of June. That it's everyone's all on the same level from that side of things. There's also talk of possibly having games on a Friday night and also Monday night on top of the Tuesday and Wednesday that was previously discussed as well. I'm guessing we'll only find out once negotiations are done with BT and Sky and Amazon and possibly BBC and ITV. But yeah, it's all going to be played within a 6-week period, so it ends on the 1st of June. The end date is the 1st of August. So 9 games over a 6-week period for West Ham, is basically going to be a couple of games, maybe once every other week. Really going to be interesting. It really is going to be fun. But yeah, as I said, I'm looking forward to it. JGM is buzzing. Steph, hello, Steph. You're happy about it? Good. I'm glad. Sofian says the Premier League is back. Let's go. Harry says, do you fix your own strings on your guitar when it breaks? Mate, pay attention. Yes, I do. Of course I do. And I have someone to pay for it. Peter Jones says, evening. Hello, mate. Good to see you. Apologies for the confusion over the email thing, mate. As I did reply to your Instagram message. Eden's back as well. Hello, guys. Ariane saying, so it's like World Cup style. Yeah, to a degree, mate. To a degree. Yeah, it is. But also, there's more sport that have been confirmed earlier today as well. Not just football. Golf is going to resume from the 22nd of July. The Masters is going to start on that date. And then the English Open is on the 30th of July, and so on and so forth. And if Nick is either in the live chat now and hasn't commentated yet, or I was watching the replay, cricket is due to resume in the UK from the 1st of August as well. Well, at least for England anyway. So it's It's good. I'm absolutely loving this. It's nice. We can relax now, guys. We've got just under 3 weeks, or so just over 3 weeks, I should say, which hopefully should be enough for the majority of the players to get back to some form of match fitness. Nobody's going to be 100%, but then again, as we know, nobody ever is. J Jazz says, "Good evening, John Deary." But yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. Very, very happy. Now we talked about Antonio being missing from training. Now apparently, and I did not know this. Apparently, he's been given compassionate leave because he lost his dad a few weeks ago. I think it was cancer, if I remember correctly. So, Mikey, apology if you are watching this, which is highly unlikely, but if you are, mate, I do wish you and your family all. My thoughts are with you in this very, very difficult time. So my video editing system has just decided to launch itself for reasons better known to itself. So bear with me 2 seconds, guys. There we go. Let's just close it down now. See what else everyone else is saying. Sophian says, I think tennis should come back earlier. To be honest, it's literally social distancing. There's no point. They've got their cover, they've got their insurance money out of it. They're not going to give that back. But I know what you mean. Ari says, so there's 2 games on the 17th of June. Possibly. Well, again, as I said, we have to wait and see what the schedule's going to be. JGM says, Brazilian women's beach volleyball starts July the 8th. Get in. Nice to know. Good evening, Stuart. Hope you're doing all right, mate. Ken, hello, mate. I'm such a nervous TV watcher. I think I'll watch West Ham games. I never get nervous as I'm going to be a wreck. Yeah, well, it is. It's watching football on telly is completely different to watching it at the ground. I've always said that because at the end of the day, you only get to see what the people want you to see. Whereas when you're at the football ground, you can watch whatever you want. So it's brilliant. It's really good from that point of things. Unknown Driller's back. So who will win, Man United or Spurs, in your opinion? Well, in that game, no idea. This is a West Ham channel. I don't pay attention to other channels, mate. But good to see you back. Sophie says, I think it's too hard to be fair for certain sports to come back. It will be like boxing or MMA. Well, boxing can happen because again, it's limited people and within a confined area. So it could happen. But again, I know what you mean. Our Nordic friends back. Good evening, mate. Kotkavod? Please let me know if I pronounced that all right. Harry says, I saw Man City versus Arsenal, Aston Villa games, Sheffield United at 8:45 kickoff. Well, you can't. There's no games are being kicked off at the same time, mate. So as I said, wait for things to be official. Ignore Twitter, ignore Instagram. Have a look at documented things. Don't take anything from 90minute.com or HITC because they're useless. I tried that. I had a look at that. The Foot Mob app afterwards. You know the app you like. And it was full of 90 minutes. I just wiped it. I just uninstalled it straight away because I hate that. So I've got One Football instead. It's much better. Now for Daniel says, it's not open Q&A if you're only asking questions about West Ham, is it? No, I've answered questions of other things, mate. Our Nordic friend says that was actually pretty good. Sofiane says Aston Villa versus Bournemouth and Arsenal City on the first day back. We'll switch them around because that's the listing of things. But yeah. Because the as I said, the Arsenal and City game is going to be first, and then it's Sheffield United. So it's probably going to be on the 6 o'clock and the 8 o'clock. I'm guessing for that. But again, we have to wait and see what's on. Now, there's 2 Fulham players and Blackburn captain Elliot Bennett have tested positive for COVID-19 in the last round of EFL tests, which is unfortunate. So I'm hoping those guys are all going to be all right. I know, for instance, that was actually pretty good. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. Apologies if I just done that. Now, listening to the West Ham Way podcast this morning that X and Dave did. X is confirmed what I kind of been saying to a degree about the Ngakia deal, where Ngakia isn't asking for 20 grand a week like it was being reported by WHU. Apparently, he's not even asking anywhere near close to half of that figure. If you guys listen to it, so again, it's David Sullivan trying to divide the fan base, and it's worked once again. They released stuff about Declan Rice, and it divided the fan base once again. Some people edging over their way back over to the Oxford deal, and quite rightly so, because we even though we have to separate the two players, as Dave was saying, they are two completely different people. Nobody knows the full facts, and therefore we shouldn't judge them as much. So in future, guys, I think it really is best that we just wait. I know it's difficult for me to say that because I'm trying to get topics to talk about every time, but I'd rather talk, and I try my best to give you guys facts rather than just rumor. I always do. This is why we hardly ever talk about any players that we get linked with. Hardly ever. Andy says, I want West Ham to play on the 21st. So that's going to be the Sunday, isn't it, mate? If I remember right. Yeah, that'll be the Sunday. Sofian says, Man City are playing in an empty stadium, business as usual. Yeah, not a bad shout, that, mate. Not a bad shout at all. Mark said, thought I'd never say it, but come on, Sheffield United. Do you know, I'm gonna agree to a degree. I'm loving what Sheffield United. I mean, regardless of the bottom 5 or 6, so regardless of that, I'm loving what Sheffield United have done this season for their first season. They and Wolves, like last season, and again Wolves with this season as well, they can show what happens when you plan properly. That's all it is. That's all it is. But as I say, going back to the Ngakia thing, the club are still in talks with him, which is exactly what I said was going to happen. I said when the news broke last Friday that there's still plenty of time for them to sort it out, and apparently the deal is getting closer from what X was saying, and X has said that Ngakia wants to stay at West Ham. So I'm hoping it's only a matter of time. But let's just put it into perspective here, right? We've got Sanchez. According to a few websites, I did a recce on about 3 or 4 different websites, and they're all roughly saying the same stuff. That Sanchez is on 50 grand a week. Zabaleta is on 75 grand a week. Those two guys are leaving around about this time next month. All right. So even if he was asking for 20 grand a week, which he isn't, but even if he was, there's £125,000 a week going free without those two on the books. We don't need Zabaleta. The league's proven that, and the Sanchez, we don't need him either. Again, the league's proven that. So if he's asking for 7 or 8 grand, boom, wallop, there we go. Then give them the 7 or 8 grand, as far as I'm concerned. If they're only off plus appearance bonuses and clean sheets, incentives, and all that sort of stuff, then they've offered him 5. They offered him 5 plus apparently, which was rejected. So that's probably why they were saying about he was less than 10 grand a week. So if he's asking for 6, the way of negotiating is you come to an agreement. You got from your point of view, it'd be this side, wouldn't it? So you got the club's value here, and you got Ngakia. Sorry, you got the Ngakia's view here, and you got the club's side here. They can meet in the middle, 7.5, 8 grand a week. It's not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's have a look. See what everybody is saying. Kent's rephrasing his comments. Said, I'm nervous. I'm a nervous TV watcher. I hardly get nervous at live games. I'm going to be a nervous wreck by the time games are finished. You know what, mate? I'm the opposite way around. I'm nervous more at a stadium than I am at home, because I just feel the tension. The tension really gets me. It really does. When you're at home, it's a lot more relaxing. But I get it. I'm nervous both times. But yeah, I know where you're coming from. Sophie said, I think we know all this to be fair. Ngaki's a good kid and wants to stay, but his agent is being a pain in the backside. X was also saying one of the juniors that is apparently refusing to sign a contract. Apparently, his agent is the same as Reece Oxford's as well. So read into that what you will. Neil Ross says, I don't believe it till I see it. Fair enough, mate. Yeah, that's very logical way of looking at things. Rick says, I want West Ham to play on the 20th. It's my birthday. Be nice to do that, mate. It's nerve-wracking having a game on your birthday. It is. Trust me. Andy says 21st, Rick, is Andy's birthday. So you two fight it out between yourselves and ask the Premier League. Gary, good evening, mate. Hope you're doing all right. Mark asks 21st birthday, Andy. And Andy says, Mark, yes, Mark, with 31 years experience. Sofian says Sanchez is leaving good riddance. Gary says Antonio, hope Antonio is back soon. Bless him. Well, you know, as we were talking about before you joined us, mate. Unless you've watched the rewind, of course, that he's on compassionate leave at the minute. So, yeah. Sofian says, I think a few TVs will be broken from the 17th of June onwards. You're not wrong there, mate. That's one of the reasons why I got myself a projector. Gary says, offer him 10 grand a week and 10 grand to start simple. Yeah, stuff like that. Possibly, yeah. Mark says, rarely sober at the match, so I get more nervous at home. Good point. Chris Hutton's back. Hello, mate. And Gakir has only played 4 games and wants a massive wage up rise. He should stay for experience. That's what he's trying to do, mate. It's what he's trying to do. But yeah, I mean, he's on a graduate contract, which I believe is not more than £1,000 or so a week. But faith in the youth. That's what West Ham's about. Faith in the youth. That's all it's about. That's the mantra. It's always been. That it's going to be that we want to make sure that we're getting the academy players in as much as possible, and it's very, very difficult nowadays because the Premier League has so many demands on clubs. It's unbelievable, and this is the tip of the iceberg. What's going on here in a minute? Chris says Wilshere, Sanchez, Yama, maybe Lanzini if he sorts it out. That should clear the wage bill. But he's not asking like 400 grand a week. But yeah, I know what you mean, mate. Yeah, it will. I mean, at the end of the day, even with the financial constraints, we because there's a very good chance we're going to be selling selling Yarmolenko, and as Chris is saying, Wilshere, unfortunately we're going to struggle with, but to get rid of. But other players. It's just, and Stuart makes a very good point. 5 youngsters on 20 grand, or 1 player on 100 grand. Exactly. This is where the thanks for the question, mate. Very good. This is where the fan base is really, really contradictory, shall we say? We blast people for everybody, for earning over 100 grand a week, and yet. When the rumor came out about Ngaki not signing a contract, originally back in the end of April, beginning of this month, and then when it was reiterated again last week, everyone was saying he was being greedy. I said that we need to hold fire and see what happens, and some of you guys blasted him for it, and quite rightly so. It's your opinion. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. But. We always have to be mindful of what's going on. Fo says, hi everyone. Hello guys. Chris says agents should be removed at this point. 100%. Peter quite rightly so says go for the 5 youngsters. Andy says, or a flat fee for agents no matter what the transfer fee is paid. Exactly, mate, as you said the other night. JGM says 5 youngsters all day, 100 grand player will end up being an injury prone crook anyway. Yes, exactly. Yeah. If we get any players in next season, which I'm sure we will, if we get anything that's on 70 to 80 grand a week, then let's have a look at their injury history, shall we? Fo says nice top. Thanks, mate. Much appreciated. I thought I'd crack it out. I don't really wear, as you guys know, I don't really wear West Ham shirts that often. I try and keep this as informal as from one point of view, as informal as possible, because it's a chat about anything, regardless of what some of the trolls are trying to do. Gary says the problem with youngsters is if they don't cut it at the moment and they are on 20k, lower league clubs won't want them on loan. Well, funny you should say that, Gary. I know what you mean. Peter Jones is definitely a flat fee for all agents. Eden says agents losing money during this period will probably try and push moves after this. Sadly, yeah, they will. They'll go absolutely hell for leather, and a lot of moves won't happen because of it. And I'm calling it now, and I'm sure you guys have all been saying the same sort of things over the last few weeks. I'm calling it now. I can't see many big deals going through next season, because the agents are going to be involved and wanting millions and millions and millions because they're greedy little gits. Christian says, I like Moyes. He's not got a good reputation in the last 5 years or so, but here he is doing what I want. Under 25s, that's the borderline. He wants young, hungry, potential full players. Agreed, Chris. It's to a degree that's always been West Ham's mantra. It's been that way ever since I've known the club. And so I think but it's being reiterated so early on into this new calendar year, not football year, calendar year for those watching in the US. But it's still. I said it originally that it reeks of David Sullivan trying to be cheap and trying to hide behind things, but we need to be bringing through youngsters. There's no disagreement on it. Now, talking of which, that puts us quite nicely into a few articles I've been reading today about Oxford United want to have Nathan Holland again next season out on loan. Now, I know a lot of you, and Andy's definitely going to be one of the first ones to comment on this, I'm sure. I know a lot of you want him to start have a good crack next season, and I'm one of those supporters of him as well. I think him, Dean Garner, Bowen in the midfield stroke attacking positions are going to be very, very lethal, very, very lethal. But at the end of the day, if we get rid of everybody that is causing the wage bracket to really be a colander, let's face it. If we get rid of Yarmolenko, if we get rid of if we get rid of Yarmolenko, who is the club's highest earner, there's a Yeti that's apparently he's meant to be going as well. He's actually now training. Apparently Ngaki is still training as well. So I don't know why they were saying that he wasn't in training when now all of a sudden he has been training for most of this week. But to have Nathan Holland go down to Oxford, it's not a bad thing. He's obviously really made an impression down there how good the kid is. I haven't looked at his stats, so I don't know what his stats are, but his stats only say half the story. But as I say, I haven't been watching lower league football, so I can't comment. But if they are saying that he's that they want him again, he's obviously made an imp. They got him on loan originally because of us how well he played for the short period of time that he did against Oxford in the Carling Cup. I think it was Carling League Cup or the FA Cup, one of the two. But yeah, it's good. It can only be good for his development. Can he step up in the? Personally, I'd like to see him go down to a championship club next season, see if he can cut the mustard there the way that Grady Dean Garner is. But as I said, not every people are exactly the same. So Stuart Russell says, I believe the game is moving to a younger player due to pace and athleticism. Looking forward to the academy players coming through. Agreed, Stuart. Definitely. You're spot on there, mate. Gary says, I worry Moyes will revert back to a 5 at the back because every game will be key now. Oh, God, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I try to forget it. 3 at the back doesn't work. 5 at the back doesn't work. Oh, yeah. So we have a 4-2-3-1 formation, a 4-4, or a 4-4-2, or 4-4-1-1, or a 4-2-2-2. Just not 5. Not 5. I couldn't take that. 3 at the back. We haven't got the players for it. 5 at the back, we ain't got the players for it. For the back, we've just got players for it. Sophie says, I think Moyes is unfairly treated because of the way he was at Man United. But let's be honest, being next after Sir Alex Ferguson will be hard. Well, it would be hard, mate. Agreed. But let's not forget, he was a dejected man when he was appointed at Sunderland. So no enthusiasm whatsoever to keep him up. Saying it's going to be a hard fight, and we'll see what's going to happen. Or at least when he came in this time round, he said that, you know, he put his bam straight away. You know, winning's what I do. It's not what he does, but do you know what I mean? His attitude was totally different. Totally different to how he's been interviewed at Sunderland. So maybe he learned after that and going abroad and not doing very well. You know, after he's done. So yeah, he's only had one positive result since leaving Man United, and that was keeping us up by the skin of our testicles. Let's put it that way. When he came in originally, so his CV's not looking good, but you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Foe's not happy. Oxford again. Sofian says, I love Nathan Holland and I think he should be in competition next season for that starting left wing role. Sell Fraud Felipe and have Dean Garner and Holland battle for a starting 11 role in his opinion. Yep, that's not a bad match out, mate. I'll take that any day of the week. Any day of the week. Sofian says, the streets won't forget 32-year-old Zabaleta and 34-year-old Ever on the fullbacks at fullback. I think you mean the happy days. Yeah, Zabaleta, yeah, was brilliant for us our first season, absolutely. And then slowly, as time does, caught up with him, and he didn't capitulate. Is not the right way of putting it, but you know, he did slow down. Unfortunately, that's the reason why when he got Fredericks. And he says, a hard one as I want him at West Ham, but a championship team would be better in his development if it's not a West Ham. Thanks, Andy. Thanks for agreeing with me there, mate. Stuart Russell says, since the lockdown, I have more faith in Moyes. Good. Please do explain. I'm not disagreeing with you, but please do explain. I'd like to know your thinking behind it. Chris says, lineup. Fabianski in goal. Centre backs of Diop and Ogbonna. We need a left back and right back to give Ngaki and Johnson time to progress. Fair point. Rice as central defensive midfield, along with Souček. Attacking midfielder central of Fornals. Left mid of Anderson or Grady. Striker with Allaire and right midfield of Bowen in the 4-2-4. Not a bad shout, mate. Not a bad shout. Yeah. I know what you mean about left back and right backs. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put Johnson in if we bought a new left back in. Let me put it that way. And I would still like to give Ngaki his full berth. I really, really do. Chris says, Wilshire out. Gary Page says, have you seen the new shirt with the NHS on the sleeve? Was they watching your video? Well, it's not Gary. It's not official, but we talked about it yesterday. So after this, going back and watch yesterday's one, because you'll be able to see. Because I actually showed the picture, and yes, we all love it. We all thought it looks brilliant. Eden says Holland did get a hamstring injury, which made him miss a chunk of the season. Agreed. So maybe another loan move could help him develop further. Yeah, he wasn't out for long. It was about 5 or 6 weeks, I think it was, and he went straight back to Oxford. I think. Can't remember, but yeah, it's been a long time. Sofian says, don't let the fame get to your head, John. Chance will be a fine thing. I'm losing subscribers. Mark says, Zabaleta is a workhouse, great attitude, and possibly the right back in the Premier League history. Yeah, that's a very good shout. Very good shout. If not one of the best ones we've had at West Ham. Lucas Neal is second, in my opinion. Talking of that, go and have a look at my Hammers 11 web YouTube channel. I had spoke with them, as I said to you guys. I spoke to them all just over a week ago, and they put up my starting 11 video today. So go watch that if you haven't already. It was a very nice conversation, and it's. I think I might surprise a few of you guys with that starting 11. So I'm not going to say anything, but go and have a watch of it, and of course get his viewing figures up as well. Sofian's been a bit harsh here, saying Zabaleta is a dog that needs to be put down. It's a bit harsh, mate. Come on. Chris, a lot of people agreeing with your lineup there, mate. Yeah, we're liking that. There's Chris says there's pace on the wings and technical flair. Player with full nails. Sofian says, isn't Marcus Brown at Oxford United? I think he is, mate. I think he is. I think. Yeah, and Anderson, Andy Walsh is on loan from Middlesbrough, Sofian. Chris says, watched your review kit earlier, JP. I like your thoughts. Yeah, that feels like a long time ago now. That feels not just the last decade, which technically it was. But yeah, Beatbox Dre, welcome back, mate. Knowing your first comment, but your players will be used to the silence at the London Stadium at least. That made me laugh. That was good. That was funny. Chris, he's not really a troll. He tries a bit of banter, but fails miserably for most of it. But that one's good. That one's good. I like that. And also, mate, you missed Sofian's comment about Man City doing exactly the same thing. Now, apparently there have been talks that have been going around that I've seen about fans getting back into the stadium but sitting 4 seats apart from each other. Well, standing as it is in the Bobby Moore and the Trevor Brooking, standing 4 seats apart. Now this I agree with, because that is exactly 2 meters, but it has to be 4 seats square. 2 meters behind you, 2 meters in front of you, 2 meters to the right of you, and 2 meters to the left of you. That's how it needs to be. It needs to be 8 seats square, I should say. Sorry, apologies. It should be 8 by 4. That's how it should be. That really is how it should be. 4 seats, 2 meters each side, 2 meters each side. So yeah, it's 8 way. So that's the only way we can do it. Now that's the problem. Apparently, there's 54,000 season ticket holders. I phoned up the club again today, asking them for them to reiterate the email, and they haven't still bloody sent it. So I'm giving up. I've tried it twice. Tried them twice. I've gone to the supporters helpline. They've not done anything. I've phoned up the club, and I've done it twice now. So I reached out to them on an official capacity 3 times now, and I've given up. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, you know, it was fun, but it'd be good to do that. But the problem is it goes back to what we were talking about a few days ago, was having a ballot of what games you will attend. You know, it's tricky. It's tricky, but I'd like to be there at some stage. I mean, we will be there at some stage. It'd be nice to get within the next 12 months, shall we say? Let me put it that way. Chris says, favourite player in the last decade in the Premier League. Well, the last decade is currently 5 weeks long, 5 months long. I'm only joking, but no, from 2000 to 2010 to 2000 end of 2019. I'd say my favourite player out of that has got to be either Bernardo Silva. I really love him. I think he's a whopping great talent. Really good guy. Really good player. Or I'd probably say it's got to be Nobes. It's got to be Nobes. I love the kid. Andy says supporters won't be in any stadiums until the new year at least. Yeah. Or until the a vaccine is 100% perfect, or 99% perfect. That's what's going to happen. JGM. So basically, what it's like after the 70th minute. Agreed. Yeah, that's what he's referring to. Yeah. Sofian, I think I told you before, start off with a small amount of crowd spread out in the all stands, then build up higher and higher attendance and get back to normal. I reckon that's what their plan's going to be, mate, at some stage, but we'll find out. Chris says EFL atmosphere is much better than Premier League football. As sad as it sounds, they care much more, it seems. Yeah, they do. Agreed. 100%. The lower you go, Chris, the lower you go, the better the atmosphere is. There's a mate of mine who lives over in Canvey Island, right? He goes and watches Canvey when West Ham are away, and he can't get a ticket for it, or he'll watch them on the Sunday or whatever. He says it's much better. It's proper football. It's much better. Peter Jones says, and if somebody needs to use a toilet, all needs to go home. Neil says I wouldn't mind sitting at the back in the gods seats right at the top. I would. But yeah, Sophie says breaking news: Sky are set to show 64 games and 25 free to air. Right. So what's happened to the other 18? Because was it 18? Was it 95 games? I think, if I remember correctly. Rathers is back. Hello, Soup Boy. How are you? Good to see you. But Sophie, I'll have a look at that later, and we'll talk about it for tomorrow's video. Chris Hutton says, I want West Brom back to see Slaven. I love what he does. Fresh mind and starting brilliant at West Brom. Yeah, great. It's what happens. It's what happens. Well, yeah, we all said the same thing for his first seasons. So let's see what happens next season. But agreed, it'd be good to see him back. Sofian says Serie A is returning on the 20th of June. So Sky Sports as well. Good. Swindon Town is a great team. They should be getting promoted to League One this season. If it goes ahead, mate. If it goes ahead, yeah. And Sofian says, I don't know. The others are on BT. I'm just watching Sky Sports News. Fine. But as I said, we'll have to wait and see what everything's confirmed. It will be in the few, probably be next week, I'm guessing. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's fantastic that they've got 64 games, which it's like one in 3, I think. And I mean, they may be saying 64, 25 games free to air. So that's, I doubt that. I honestly doubt that's just between BT and ITV. I reckon it's going to be between BT, Amazon, BBC, and ITV. I reckon that's where I reckon that they probably get probably six games each or something. We'll find out. We'll see. Bex is back. Hello, hon. I hope you're all right. Now, Troy Deeney has come out with a very good article. He was talking to, I think, one of the American channels. He said he was clarifying on what he was talking about. He said, "I only said that I wasn't going back for the first week. People took that as I'll never go back. The first conversation I had with Jonathan, which I'm guessing is the team medic, I don't know, was maybe 3 weeks ago. The last conversation we had was on Friday, and he had so much more information, so much more detailed analysis. So it just filled me with confidence that he's trying his best to make sure that we have all the information. The risk factor will be down to each player." He also went on and in further in the conversation, CNN Sport. He also said that I saw some comments in regards to my son. Some people were saying, "I hope your son gets corona." What is wrong with people? Honestly, what is wrong with people? And he continues going, saying, "That's the hard part for me. If you respond to that, people then go, we've got him," and they keep doing it, which is completely true. Completely true. Little idiots that do think they're funny doing stuff like that. In a time where it's all about mental health and everyone says, "Speak up, speak out, please speak." Totally right. Danny Rose spoke out and I spoke out, and we just get absolutely hammered and battered for it. So people see that and go, "Whoa." And it's not just that. It's not just us that gets it. The missus gets direct messages, and you'll be walking down the street and people will be like, "Oh, I'm at work. You go back to work." And then he goes on about talking about here we go. England's Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Professor Jonathan Van Tam, and he said he's been doing very, very good research, and there's a lot of goodwill on his part to tell me ultimately that I'm going to be looked after as best as they can, and ultimately there is going to be some form of risk for all of us going back to work. Lockdown and the social distancing measures coming down mean people will still always have risk. But yeah, that is absolutely right on that point. Completely right, and I really, really do think on it. But yeah, I see him. I see him on them. I see his point completely on this. Gio's in. Hello, guys. Hope you're doing all right. JGM says, "Evening Jammers chat. Greatness has arrived." Bum, bum, bum. Sofian says, "People make me sick. I don't want to name names, but apparently it was mainly Liverpool and Leeds fans because of what he said about the season." Yeah, possibly, very, very possibly. Chris says, "Did you see George Floyd's charities has got over £1 million pounds? I'm guessing. I didn't see that, to be honest with you, mate. Again, I'll have a look at that." So Gonz, so Gio, if you're still here, mate, as you said in your video earlier today that you're missing live music. Well, try and get people to subscribe to the channel so I can do the gig. That I know it's not perfect for you. It's not going to see Kasabian in Leicester, but it's the best we can do at the minute. So it'd be nice to get it'd be nice to get a be nice to get that gig going, because there's like you say, there's no live music at the minute, so it'll be the closest we get to. Jenai, hello, mate. Wilshire is the carrot top of football and the Sarah Silverman of comedy, except he's not a woman, he's a man. Unless I'm coming and standing in your gaff, that doesn't count. It's the best I can do at this stage, mate. Sofian says John's gig behind closed doors. Jono's got a bit of vendetta against Wilshire by the looks of it. He's like an ancient dolphin from the 70s. All right, okay. Guys, what do you think about what Troy Deeney's been saying, and more specifically the hatred that, because he's 100% right. We are told. I mean, Sofian's given his thoughts on it. He's given. He's getting personal abuse, and we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be. At the end of the day, he's only looking after his family. Okay, great. Granted, it's little kids slating him off for doing the right thing. Well, that's the problem. Is because he's absolutely right. If he it just has to, it all has to be ignored, because it's just otherwise you just respond to it and they get you and they hook you in, and then all their mates jump in on it and all that sort of stuff. BBC are getting 4 games. Premier League games will be broadcast free to air live on the BBC when the season resumes. So nothing is yet. So yeah, so there's 4 games being live on the BBC. It'd be interesting to see what happens if there's going to be any games on ITV, and be interesting to see what the lists are going to be for BT and Amazon as well, because they are still in the mix, that company. So Sophie Ann says, asks, Tom from Kent doesn't get abused for not going to work because he's worried about his family. So why does Deeney? Because apparently, mate, the reason why that happens is because he's on such a high wage, everybody thinks they can get away with it. That he earns enough to, and therefore he should be justifying getting his wage. And that's what I was saying earlier about the contradiction in the fan base. That people are either too greedy, or they don't appreciate how much money they're on. It's just it's ridiculous. It really, really is ridiculous. Chris says, did you see an NHS worker in a doctor's uniform at the shops got screamed at for shopping? Didn't see that, mate. Didn't see that. I mean, it's how people are. It's how selfish the world is, mate, unfortunately. Sophie says, I'm going to break down into tears of joy when I hear Match of the Day theme song. All right, guys, we're on the 45-minute mark now, so we've got a little bit more time. So, is there anything you guys want to talk about? Chris, jump straight in. Favorite song? of all time is Ocean Colour Sings the Waves. It's a beautiful song. Beautiful songs. Favorite song at the moment is Oasis's Step Out. I was listening to that again recently, and it's just brilliant. It's just really is brilliant. It's a real shame that it had to be stuck as a B-side because of copyright rules, because it was a Stevie Wonder number that was nicked from, so we had to credit Stevie Wonder as a co-writing, which means he had to put it onto a B-side. Sophie, I was wondering how long it was going to take you that. John, will there be an open Q&As when the Premier League comes back if we are still in lockdown? Well, we still will be in lockdown because lockdown's not getting lifted for any time soon. But yeah, I will be doing this unless a West Ham game falls in this schedule. Then I'll be doing the live watch along with for the home and away games. But yeah, it's gonna literally these will go on every night on every evening at 6:30, unless there's a game in that schedule, or and I should say until I start going back to the office. So because by the time I get back to the office, it leaves me no time to do these. And as you guys can appreciate, being working all day outside of home is a lot more stressful than working in home. So I need a few evenings myself. The previews will still be coming as usual. I'll be doing the previews as best as I can. I'm sure everybody else will be doing. But yeah. Gio says, listen to Silver by Shader. Thank me later, everyone. I'll hold you to that. Someone says, your favourite Beatles song? Mine is Twist and Shout because it reminds me of West Ham. My favourite Beatles song, I'm not going to say because it's in the gig list for the live gig when we get to 1600. So I'm not going to say it. I can't say. I want you guys to figure it out afterwards. If nobody figures it out, then I'll say it afterwards, but not at the minute. Little teaser. Chris, JP, they should stream all the games on YouTube next season. If they change the rules, it will give fans a thing to pass the time and watch. Agreed, but you'd have to pay for it. Club won't allow you to watch things free to view. I mean, obviously, a huge amount of people watched the Champions League final on YouTube. I think it was like 2 seasons in a row. There was last season, the season before, because that was just free. But yeah, that's the way it's going to be, unfortunately. But yeah, because if we're not going to get season tickets, which very very likely could happen, because one thing I don't want to do, I don't want the club to do, for that matter, I should say, is charge us for a whole season. The 19 games, and or maybe potentially 21 games if the 22 league table comes into effect, or and then charge us a ballot for each game. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way, but we'll have to see. Jenai says, I love Nobes, but his legs have gone. He has the upper body but don't have the lower body. He got a problem building downstairs. If he had the legs on the bottom, it would be easier to build on the top. I know what you mean. Goose. I know what you mean. He's not got long, but we've been saying that for 4 or 5 seasons, that he's only got a couple of seasons left. Sophie says, your worst moment whilst drunk. Worst moment. I don't think I got one, actually. I've never gotten into any fights. Never broken a tooth, broke my arm or anything like that. No, I don't think there is. Nothing that springs to mind anyway. Chris Houghton says, not bad, Joe. That should be in the radio instead of some hippie rubbish like coffee with Katy Perry. Nobes has never had good legs, even when he started with us. He's just a great captain, best in the league. And no, he moved around. He moved around a fair bit when he made his debut on the season. We came back under Pardew. He's more technical. You don't have to, if you got the brains, you don't need the speed. That's the thing. The best import to play in the Premier League, aka foreign player. I'm not going to jump. I'm not going to say Di Canio because everybody says that. I'd say possibly. Yeah, I'd say Aguero. You can't mix it. Amish Chat says. Amish Chat says mine was sleeping with my best friend's sister. Not the worst thing to do. Not the worst thing to happen when drunk. I'm sure you enjoyed that quite well. Fo says Henri. Andy says Burkamp. Yeah, don't disagree on another. Yeah, Ross says John. Wasn't it when you gave the what? That wasn't worse. That was funny. That was no, that wasn't worse. That wasn't the worst moment. No, I've never done anything I've ever regretted. I don't mind giving people big tips. I don't mind. And here we go. Jerry, how was the weather in Scotland territory? Jerry and his ego coming out here saying she enjoyed it more, I think. I mean, you didn't. Hope she's not watching. Sophie asks, the best over 30 player in the world other than Messi and Ronaldo? Noah for me. I think you think he's just over 30 now. But yeah, I thought it's probably. I'd probably say, yeah, or maybe oh no, because Buffon's not. Yeah, Buffon's not retired. He's retired now. Right. So just to reiterate, because obviously, let's say everything we've talked about. We've talked about everything that I wanted to do, and it's been quite a good conversation. Thank you, Mark, for liking this on Facebook, mate. Much appreciated. Chris asks, McGinn or McTominay? Neither. Sophie asks, thoughts on Jude Bellingham? Where do you think he will go? No idea. I don't know who the geezer is. Eden says, Benny McCarthy was recently voted West Ham's worst signing. Do you agree? Do I agree? Other than that Italian, I think it was Italian midfielder we had as right back when we moved to London Stadium. But yeah, close to it. What about Teddy Sheringham? Chat me's quicker than allows me to. Neil says, what about Teddy Sheringham? He was an oldie. He was, yeah. Still a good player as well. If you watch I was gonna say if you watch Harry's Heroes, he didn't really see him do anything in that game. Jenai says Roberto is West Ham's worst signing. Yes and no. His most recent. Marco Bogus was definitely the worst player we've ever signed. JGM says Zaza was worse than Benny. Scored one goal in London Stadium and it was against us for Juventus. Yeah, but you had way too much pressure put on him. That was the problem. West Ham's best bargain of recent history. Paolo Di Canio. It's the best bargain. It's recent. Not that recent, but it is recent. Chris is asking Hammer of the Year. Everyone, we've all pretty much agreed that it's either it's going to be either Ogbonna or Rice. Most of us have all agreed to that one. Unless there's anybody else who's got a different one. Neil says, "Do you remember Paolo Future? I think that's his name. Yeah, it's close to it, mate. But yeah, I do." Jano's off on his little rant again. So, Finn, I'm not answering about bloody haircut. Come on. Everyone else can answer that, but bloody haircuts. Honestly, I don't watch people's hair. I watch their feet. It's football. It's not headball. Mark says Paolo Fiori went shopping because Harry wouldn't give him the number he wanted. That I think, I mean, it's not that far off, mate. Not that far off. Well, cheers, Pete. Have a good one. Enjoy your evening, fella. Nothing else to ask. Well, hopefully someone else will ask other questions. I'm just checking the news. There's nothing really new on that side of it. Yeah, everything's pretty much exactly the same as what we've already talked about. Yeah, it's the same stories going round and 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 round. Right, so guys, just before we go, all right, I'm going to show you the West Ham gear and the you can buy through the sponsor. So here we go. I'll put it up on full screen for you. So this is the stuff. These are the replica kits you can buy from the let's make it a bit bigger. Is that better? Yeah, it's a bit better. So there you go. CBT or BBC? Well, CBT can mean about 2 or 3 different things, mate. Can you just clarify what you're referring to that? Neil Ross says, "Do you do the clap at 8?" I have been, but I haven't been standing outside my door because but I have been clapping for him. But the woman who said it, who made it up in the first place, she said we should stop doing it now. We should make it an annual event, and I'm completely right with her on side for her. But yeah, so, foes off. See you, mate. Have a good one. Mark says 2-1 for me today. Ginger meltdown. Right. So everyone's going. Let's just have a look. So here we go. So that's some of them. This is the next line. Now, this 1976 polo shirt here, very, very nice. A mate of mine's got it. It's very, very nice. Much better quality than what some of the club stuff is showing. So the Admiral 76 polo shirt again is very nice. They've got the original FA Cup one. Hopefully at some point they'll get the proper replica kit in there. So you got the Admirals, and then you got the nice 82 jacket. So you got the boys of 86 home and away there. The Bobby Moore Memorial kit as well. The 98 home shirt and the 99 away shirt. The Paolo Di Canio home and away strips in there as well. Now the Umbro polo I've got, that one's absolutely smart. You know, it's really quite a nice one. And then you got the Lonsdale style Umbro claret and blue jumper and the jacket, the Choice of Champions claret track jacket. by Umbro. So good stuff in there, guys. Go check them out. Decent prices as well, for that matter. But guys, thanks very much for watching. As always, if you're new around here, welcome. Be nice to get a few more subscribers to the channel. If you've enjoyed this video, then by all means, please do click the like button. The more likes this video gets, the more exposure the channel gets on the as well. Please share this content, because I know most of you guys will probably be watching this on your phone. So share it to Twitter, share it to Facebook, whatever. Try and get some new people on board to subscribe to the channel as well, because I'm not joking. I'm genuinely got a very, very good gig list for the 1600 subscriber mark, and I really want to do it. And more specifically, any money that's made from it, from donations from people, because I won't be monetizing it at all. But any donations that are given for the performance, I'm going to be sending directly to the NHS. So guys, in the meantime, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you tomorrow evening for Friday night drinks. Well, hopefully drinks. I don't know. I might get some beers. But yeah, enjoy your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.